Sometimes we think love has to be a big explosion, like in the movies, with loud music and running through airports. But real love, it's quiet. It starts with a look, a smile, a shared pencil. My story starts 7 years ago. I was 19. I was in my first year of university. I was very shy. My English was not so good. I was in a big city, far from my small town. I felt alone. Every day, I went to my classes. I sat in the back. I never spoke. One of my classes was English literature. I loved stories, but I was scared to talk about them. The teacher, Mr. Clark, was nice but very serious. He had glasses that he always pushed up his nose. And in that class, there was a boy. His name was Leo. He sat near the window. He wasn't the most handsome boy in school, not like a movie star, but he had kind eyes. And he always listened, really listened. When other people talked, he looked at them. He smiled. He had messy brown hair that he played with when he was thinking. For weeks, I just watched him. I didn't say a word. Then one Tuesday it happened. It was raining. A cold, sad rain. The classroom window was open a little. My desk was near it. My papers were on my desk. A strong wind came in. Whoosh. My papers flew everywhere, all over the floor. I was so embarrassed. My face became hot and red. I got down on my knees to pick them up. I was rushing. I wanted to disappear. And then I saw a pair of shoes. Old, white sneakers. They were next to me. The person was also picking up my papers. I looked up. It was Leo. He was smiling a little. "The wind is a bad student," he said. "It never listens to the teacher." He said it slowly so I could understand. It was a silly joke, but I laughed. A small, nervous laugh. "Thank you," I said. My voice was very quiet. He handed me my papers. Our fingers touched for a second. Just a second. But I felt it. A little electric feeling. "I'm Leo," he said. "I'm Rose," I said. "I know," he said. Then his face got a little red. I heard the teacher call your name last week." We went back to our seats. But after that day, everything was different. He would look at me and smile when he came into class. I would smile back. One day, after class, he was walking next to me in the hallway. "So, Rose," he said, "what did you think about the story today? The sad love story?" I was nervous. My English felt heavy in my mouth. "It was very sad," I said, "but beautiful." The woman was strong. She loved him, but she also loved herself. That is important. He stopped walking. He looked at me with those kind eyes. "Yes," he said. "That's exactly it. You understand it perfectly." No one had ever said something like that to me before. We started walking and talking every day after that class. At first, we talked about books and stories. He helped me with difficult English words. I taught him some words in my language. It was fun. He was funny. He made jokes about Mr. Clark's glasses. He made funny voices when he read the old poems. Then we started talking about other things. Our families. My small town with the big river. His dream to write music. My dream to... I didn't know my dream yet. We talked about everything. And every time we talked, I felt happy. A warm, safe happy. Like drinking hot chocolate on a cold day. One afternoon, he asked me to meet him at the small park near the university. "To study," he said. But I knew it wasn't just to study. I went there. He was sitting on a bench. He had 2 cups of tea. He looked nervous. "I got you tea," he said. "I hope it's okay." We didn't study much. We talked. The sun was going down. The sky was orange and pink. It was so beautiful. He was telling a story about his little brother. I was laughing. And then he stopped talking. He just looked at me. "Rose," he said. His voice was soft. I really like talking to you. I like being with you. My heart was beating so fast. I like being with you too, Leo, I said. He took my hand. His hand was warm. Can I take you on a real date? Not a study date. A dinner date. I smiled. A big, real smile. Yes, I said. I would love that. That was the beginning. Our beginning. For 2 years, Leo was my everything. My best friend.
My boyfriend.
My teacher. My student. We learned English together. We learned about life together.
We were so young.
We thought our love was a forever thing. It felt so strong, so simple. He was there for my first big presentation in English. I was so scared. My hands were shaking. He sat in the front row. He gave me a thumbs up. He smiled. And I did it. I got a good grade. We celebrated with cheap pizza. I was there when he played his first song for me. He sang it with his guitar. His voice was shaky. The song was about a girl with a name like a flower. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I cried. Happy tears. We shared everything. Our joys, our fears. The silly things and the big things. We promised each other forever. We believed it. We really did. But life is not a simple story. Sometimes, even the strongest love can get lost. Life got busier. I changed my major. I studied to be a graphic designer. It was a lot of work. Leo started working more hours at a cafe to help his family. He was also trying to write more music. We were both tired. All the time. We stopped going to the park. We stopped having our long talks. Our dates became quick meals where we looked at our phones. We were in the same room, but we were far away. The easy laughter was hard to find. The problems started small, like a little crack in a cup. He forgot our 2-year anniversary.
I was so sad.
I made a little card. I cooked dinner. He came home late from work, very tired. He just ate and fell asleep on the sofa. He didn't remember. When I told him the next day, he felt terrible. Rose, I'm so sorry. Work is crazy. My head is everywhere. I know, I said, but the hurt was there. Then it was my turn. He had a small music show at the cafe. He told me about it for weeks. It was a big deal for him. But that day, I had a huge project deadline. I worked until midnight. I completely forgot. I didn't go. I didn't even call. When I came home, he was there. His guitar was in the corner. He looked so sad. You didn't come, he said quietly. Leo, I am so sorry. My project. I know.
It's important, he said.
But his voice was flat. It's okay. But it wasn't okay. The crack in our cup was getting bigger. We started arguing about stupid things. Who forgot to buy milk? Who should clean the bathroom? Our arguments were in English. In my language, they were just angry sounds. We weren't listening to each other anymore. We were just two tired, stressed people sharing a small apartment. The love was still there. I could feel it under all the anger and tiredness. But it was hiding. It was hard to find. One cold night, we had the big argument. It started about money. Then it became about time. Then it became about dreams. You don't support my music, he said. You don't understand the pressure I'm under, I said. We were both crying. The room felt cold and empty. We said things we didn't mean. Hurtful words. Words that you can't take back. Finally, he sat down on the floor. He looked broken. Rose, he said. His voice was just a whisper. I don't know who we are anymore. This isn't us. We're just making each other sad. I felt my heart break. I could actually feel it, like a physical pain. Because he was right. The two people who met in that windy classroom were gone. We lost them. What are you saying? I asked, already knowing the answer. I think we need to stop. I think we need to be alone for a while. The word break up hung in the air. It was the saddest, heaviest word. I couldn't speak. I just nodded.
What was there to say?
The next week was a blur of pain. He moved out. I stayed in our little apartment. Every corner had a memory. His favorite mug, the spot where he played guitar, the window we looked out of together. It was like the whole world turned gray. Colors didn't look bright anymore. Food had no taste. I was heartbroken, completely broken. I cried every day. I listened to sad songs. I read our old text messages. I looked at our photos, the happy faces of those two young people in love. Who were they? Where did they go? For a long time, I was just sad. I focused on my work. I finished university. I got a job. I lived my life. But a piece of me was missing. The Rose who knew how to laugh easily, who believed in forever, she was gone too. I dated other people. Nice people. But it was never the same. No one knew me like Leo did. No one had that shared history. That beginning in the classroom. The story of us was my favorite story. And now it had a very sad ending. Years passed. 5 years. I thought about him less often. But sometimes, a song would play in a cafe. Or I would smell the tea he used to drink. And my heart would give a little ache. A memory of the hurt, but also of the love. I learned to be happy alone. I had my friends.
My job.
I was okay. But love? I didn't believe in that kind of love anymore. The across the classroom love. I thought that was for young people. For a different Rose. Then one ordinary Tuesday, everything changed again.
It was a normal day.
I was going to a meeting at a new company. They needed a designer for a project. I was wearing my professional clothes. I felt confident. I was not the shy girl from a classroom anymore. The company's office was in a tall, glass building. I went to the reception.
Hello, I said.
I'm Rose. I have a meeting with Mr. Evans at 10 a.m. The receptionist smiled. Yes, he's expecting you. Conference room B, on the 4th floor. I walked to the elevator. My heels clicked on the floor. I was thinking about my portfolio. My presentation.
I was not thinking about the past.
Not at all. The elevator doors opened on the 4th floor. I walked down the hallway, looking for the room. The doors had little windows. I looked into one room. It was a big meeting room. A man was writing on a whiteboard. His back was to me. Something about him, the way he stood, the messy hair. My heart stopped.
No,
it couldn't be. Just then, he turned around. He pushed his glasses up his nose. It was a habit. A familiar habit. It was Leo. Time stopped. For a second, I couldn't breathe. He looked older. His face was a little more defined. He wore a nice shirt. But his eyes, they were the same. Those kind, intelligent eyes. He was looking at the papers in his hand. Then he looked up. He saw me through the glass window in the door. His eyes went wide. He froze. He just stared at me. I stared back. The world around us disappeared. There was no sound. It was just him and me, looking at each other through a pane of glass after 5 long years. He put his papers down. He walked slowly to the door. He opened it. Rose, he said. His voice was deeper, but so familiar. It was the voice that read me poems. The voice that sang me songs. The voice that said goodbye. Leo, I said. My own voice sounded strange. We stood there in the doorway. Neither of us knew what to say. It was so strange. This man knew everything about me once. He knew my secrets, my dreams, my fears. And now he was a stranger. What are you doing here? He asked. I have a meeting with Mr. Evans for a design project, I said. You? I work here. I'm Mr. Evans's project manager for this. He gave a little, nervous laugh. Small world. Very small, I whispered. Awkward silence. So much to say. No words to say it. You look great, he said finally. So do you?
I said.
And he did. Just then, another man walked up. He had a friendly face.
Ah,
You must be Rose.
I'm Ben Evans.
And I see you've met Leo, our star project manager. He looked between us. Do you two know each other? Leo and I looked at each other. A whole history passed between us in that look. The classroom, the park, the apartment, the goodbye. We went to university together, Leo said smoothly. A long time ago. Well, perfect, Mr. Evans said, not sensing the tension.
Come in.
Let's get started. The meeting was the hardest hour of my life. I had to talk about colors and designs and schedules. And all I could think about was Leo, sitting across the table from me. He was professional. He asked good questions. But sometimes our eyes would meet, and I could see the same shock, the same confusion in his eyes. He played with his pen, a habit he still had. I noticed a small scar on his hand from a cooking accident we had together. I still had the same scar on my finger. We were connected by invisible threads of memory. The meeting ended. Mr. Evans shook my hand. Excellent. We'll be in touch, Rose. Leo, can you show Rose out? Of course, Leo said. We walked to the elevator in silence. The air was thick with unspoken words. We got into the empty elevator.
The doors closed.
It was just us. The quiet was too loud. So, we both said at the same time. Then we both stopped. You first, he said. I didn't know you worked here, I said. I started 6 months ago, he said. He looked at me. Really looked at me. Rose, how have you been? Such a simple question. But how do you answer that? I've been heartbroken. I've been healing. I've been okay. I've been wondering about you. I've been good, I said. Busy. Working. You? Same, he said. He paused. I heard you became a designer. I always knew you would. You were so creative. He remembered. The elevator reached the ground floor. The doors opened. We walked into the lobby. We stopped near the big glass doors. Well, I said, it was really surprising to see you. Yeah, he said. He shifted his weight. He looked nervous, like the boy in the park with the tea. Listen, Rose, I know this is strange, and maybe it's a bad idea, but would you like to get a coffee? For old time's sake? To talk. My brain said no. This was dangerous. This could bring back all the pain. But my heart was beating fast. That same feeling from years ago. That electric feeling. I looked into his eyes. I saw the Leo the first fell in love with. Not the tired, angry man from the end, but my friend, the one who picked up my papers. Okay, I said softly. One coffee. We went to a small cafe around the corner. Not the one he used to work in. A different one. We sat at a small table by the window. The sun was shining. It felt surreal. We got our coffees. More silence. It was like we were speaking a language we had both forgotten. So, I started. Project manager. That's new. He smiled.
Yeah.
The music thing, it's still a hobby. I play sometimes. But I needed a real job. Life, you know? I nodded. I know. And you're a designer. That's amazing, Rose. I always loved your drawings. He took a sip of coffee. Do you still draw silly pictures in the margins of your notebooks? I was shocked. He remembered that tiny detail. I laughed. A real laugh. Sometimes, when the meetings are very boring. He laughed too. It was a good sound. A sound I missed. The ice was broken. Slowly, carefully, we started to talk. Not about the past. Not about us.
About now.
About the last 5 years. We talked like two old friends catching up. We were careful. We stayed away from the big, painful topics. We talked about work, about movies, about his brother who is now in college, about my parents. It was nice.
Easy.
The conversation flowed. He was still funny. He told a story about a bad guitar string breaking during a song. I told him about a difficult client who wanted everything in the color mud.
We laughed.
But then, the conversation slowed. The unspoken thing was in the air between us. Our past. Our ending. He looked down at his coffee cup. "Rose," he said quietly. I need to say something. I need to say I'm sorry." I looked at him. "I'm sorry for how things ended," he continued. His voice was full of emotion. "I'm sorry for the things I said that night. I was young and stupid and stressed. I didn't know how to fix us, so I broke us instead. It was the biggest mistake of my life." Hearing him say it, it opened a door in my heart I thought I had locked forever. Tears pricked my eyes. I didn't let them fall. "I'm sorry too, Leo," I said. My voice was shaky. "I forgot your show. I wasn't there for you. I was so focused on my own world. I pushed you away too." He reached his hand across the table. He stopped, not sure if he should touch me. He pulled his hand back. "We were just kids trying to be adults. And we failed." "Yes," I whispered. "I thought about you."
"A lot," he said.
"I wondered if you were happy. I hoped you were." "I wondered about you too," I admitted. We sat in that quiet understanding for a moment. The hurt was still there. A scar. But it wasn't a fresh wound anymore. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Yes." "That song I wrote for you, the one about the flower, do you remember it?" "How could I forget?" "Of course I remember it. I never played it for anyone else," he said. "It was always yours." My heart felt so full it could burst. He looked out the window, then back at me. His eyes were serious. "This is probably crazy. And you can say no. But would you like to have dinner with me? A real dinner. Not for old time's sake, but for new time's sake." I stared at him. My mind was racing. Was this a second chance? Or was it just opening an old book to read the sad ending again? But looking at him now, he was different. I was different. We weren't those scared, stressed kids anymore. We were older, maybe a little wiser. The love we had was real. That never changed. It just got buried under life. Maybe some stories aren't finished. Maybe some loves deserve another chapter. A slow smile spread across my face. It felt like the sun coming out after a long, gray winter. "Yes, Leo," I said. "I would like that very much." His whole face lit up. It was the smile from the classroom, the one that made me fall in love. "Okay," he said. "Okay."
"Great."
We left the cafe. We stood outside. The future was uncertain, but it was open. It was possible. "I'll call you," he said. "We'll make a plan." "I'd like that," I said. I started to walk away. Then I turned back. He was still watching me.
"Lao?"
I called. "Yes." "The wind is a bad student," I said, repeating his silly joke from all those years ago. He laughed, a loud, happy laugh that filled the street. "But some students," he called back. "You never forget." I walked away, my heart feeling light for the first time in years. Love across the classroom found us again. Not the same love. A new love. Stronger because it knew what it had lost. A love that learned from its mistakes. A simple, amazing second chance. And that is my story. A story of love, heartbreak, and healing. A story that proves that sometimes the best chapters are the ones you write after you think the book is finished.